Paul Firnhaber. It's time for 10 minutes of truth. So today I have another scientific article that I want to cover that I think is really important. It's called Magnesium and the Hallmarks of Aging, and it's from a journal article called Nutrients, is the name of the journal. And the article is published in February 9th of 2024. This article reviews the evidence of the relationship between magnesium with all the hallmarks of aging. And we want to go through those here one by one. Now, I want to start out with three definitions. And these are important when you're understanding the aging process. One is apoptosis. And this is a process where the cell actually self-destructs to make way for a healthier cell. It's a normal and biological process that happens, and it's very important in human health. So when you fast, you actually make the process of apoptosis a lot more efficient. Another one is autophagy. And autophagy is a self-preservation mechanism which your body removes and recycles damaged or dysfunctional parts of cells in order to regenerate and make newer, healthier cells. So it's autophagy is again is a process of cellular. Your body literally eats up bad cells and recycles the good parts of the cell. Again, autophagy becomes much more efficient when you fast or you intermittently fast. And the last definition is senescence. Senescence is the biological process where a cell permanently stops dividing and functioning properly but doesn't die. An accumulation, when you have an accumulation of senescent cells, they release harmful inflammatory substances contributing to the aging diseases and making you look old, okay? So when you look at magnesium deficiency is very common in old age. Magnesium is crucial to slowing down the aging process. Magnesium insufficiency has been linked to excessive generation of inflammatory markers, free radicals, including a chronic inflammatory state. So what they're saying there is when you don't have enough magnesium in your body, you're magnesium deficient, which a lot of people are, your body slowly becomes inflamed over time. So maintaining a healthy amount of magnesium is actually crucial to slowing down the aging process. Now, if you look at the aging process, there's some hallmarks to aging. And I'm going to go over those in just a minute. What I want to say this about magnesium is that there's certain things that actually deplete your body of magnesium. And one is medication. Okay, so chronic use of diuretics, chronic use of proton pump inhibitors like Prilosec, and use of nephrotoxin drugs that cause toxicity to your kidneys. Certain surgeries will deplete your body of magnesium. Bariatric surgery, which is a stomach stapling surgery, and a parathyroidectomy, which is where they take out the parathyroid, which helps regulate calcium magnesium balance in the body. I could go through the symptoms of low magnesium. I don't know that I want to do that. Other disorders of low magnesium include asthma, migraines, chronic fatigue, and impaired athletic performance. And the article says this: low magnesium status is associated with all the hallmarks of aging. So let's talk about those hallmarks, okay? One is genomic instability, where your DNA is unstable and it unspools or it damages or mutates easier. That is a hallmark of aging, and an adequate level of magnesium in the body is essential for stable DNA. The second one is telomere attrition. Now, telomeres are like the caps on your shoelaces. They're they're the ends of chromosomes. And when telomeres shorten the more they shorten, the faster you age. So magnesium, adequate levels of magnesium, slows down that process, as does adequate levels of exercise as well. And you can actually measure telomeres. There's lab tests that measure that to see how fast your telomeres are shortening. Epigenetic alterations. Now, epigenetic is basically, the definition of that is the expression of your genes based on your lifestyle. So if you eat a high sugar diet, a high processed food diet, you don't exercise, that's going to alter the way your DNA expresses itself in a negative way. Well, magnesium influences epigenetics. So when you have adequate levels of magnesium, you don't have the epigenetic, the bad or the negative epigenetic alterations like you could if your magnesium was low. Mitochondrial dysfunction. Your mitochondrial are the parts of the cell that produce energy. Magnesium is absolutely essential for energy production in the body and for normal mitochondrial function. So low amounts of magnesium suppresses the ability of mitochondria to produce energy, and that's where you get fatigue. Okay, that's one of the areas, or one of the things, or one of the factors that can produce chronic fatigue. Another one is loss of proteostasis. So proteostasis is your body's ability to create and fold new proteins to create new cells and new tissue. Magnesium is involved in that, and that's an extremely important process in the body. And if you lose that ability, you start aging much faster. Magnesium is involved in proteostasis. Dysregulated nutrient sensing. Magnesium modulates the effect of glucose metabolism and protein and DNA synthesis. So a higher magnesium intake is associated with increased insulin sensitivity, which is really important, and a 30% decreased risk of type 2 diabetes. Stem cell exhaustion. Stem cells maintain human tissues due to their self-renewing capacity and ability to differentiate into different types of cells. The ability of stem cells to do this is also dependent on magnesium. And when magnesium is low, your stem cells cannot work and differentiate as well. Altered intracellular communication. Poor intracellular communication is another example of the aging process, and this includes modifications in the gut microbiome and intestinal permeability. So magnesium is involved in that. It's involved in keeping the gut microbiome healthy. It's not the only thing that does it, but it's involved in that. And keeping the gut lining from leaking and causing autoimmune disease and other processes. Magnesium is essential in the process of autophagy and apoptosis, which I just talked about. It's absolutely essential in preventing dysbiosis of the gut, which can lead to a lot of different things. And I talked about that a lot in last week's talk about how dysbiosis of the gut can lead to things like cravings and addictions. Another thing that magnesium does, or loss of magnesium does, is it creates an inflammatory state in the body. And when your body's inflamed, it just can't heal very well. A loss of magnesium creates this low grade, what they call inflammaging. So your body's inflamed, and it speeds up the aging process. So low dietary magnesium is associated with low-grade systemic inflammation. So there's evidence that magnesium is related to all of the hallmarks of aging. The possibility, I'm just going to read this out of this article, the possibility that maintaining a suitable magnesium balance over the course of a lifetime may become an inexpensive and safe strategy contributing to healthy aging. So I take a whole food magnesium complex every day. I carry it in my office, and I take it daily, along with a lot of other nutrition in a whole food format. And I would recommend you do the same. There's lots of different magnesiums out there. Magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate. I prefer to take mine in a whole food format because that's how we get it in nature. So however you take it, that probably needs to be one of your daily supplements is magnesium. Now, how do you test for magnesium? The best, most accurate way is a whole blood magnesium test. We do that in our office for $25. That's very inexpensive. It's the most accurate way of looking at magnesium is in whole blood. And I would recommend that if you're interested in finding out what your magnesium levels are, that you do that test. Anyway, that's all we have today for this edition of 10 Minutes of Truth. This is Dr. Paul Firnhaber at Lincoln Disc and Nutrition Center here in Lincoln, Nebraska. If you want to come in and get checked out, our number is 402-488-2220. Give us a call. We'd love to talk to you and help you with your health.